Hey everybody, welcome to this video. I'm Inxlaura123 and in this video I'm going to be talking about something that is quite awkward to talk about, but I hope it will make for an interesting video. In this video I'm going to be talking about ex-boyfriends. Yeah, ex-boyfriends. Now I have asked my fiance, the lovely, the adorable Nathan, if it's okay if I do this video, and he was like, yeah, I don't care. So I'm going ahead and doing it. I think it's a kind of interesting subject. I know I'm going to feel a bit awkward at times, but there we go. It's cool. So let me know in the comments section below about your exes. You know, I want to know everything. Good, bad, the ugly. Just tell me about your exes. So I am 38 years old. I have had quite a few ex-boyfriends, which makes me sound like a real... But I'm not, you know, a tart or anything. It's just that, you know, everyone's got a past. And the way I look at it is I had to kiss a lot of frogs before I got my Prince Charming. There we go. But it's true, like, you have to go through the kind of rubbish, get rid of those, and then you find someone who, you know, you're happy with and you want to spend the rest of your life with. And I'm engaged now. I'm in love. Nathan is my soulmate. So it's all good. And I kind of look back at the past and I'm just like... Oh, no, do you know what I mean? So hopefully this won't be too awkward to do, but I know I'm going to be awkward. I mean, you know, exes are always an awkward subject. And the really weird thing is, like, me and Nathan are really open with each other about everything. We talk about everything and anything. And, you know, when I speak about my exes, he doesn't really care. But if he's ever spoke about his exes, I'm like, I get really jealous. And I don't even know why I get jealous, because in the past, he didn't even know me, but I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, I'm just a very jealous person. But anyway, so I have a list here that I've got two lists. Oh, it sounds so bad. I've got some names on my phone and also on a bit of scrap paper. It's because I didn't want to forget any of them. Because, you know, there are a few and I didn't want to forget any of them. Anyway, okay, I'm awkward already. So... let's start childhood. I was very young when I wanted a boyfriend. Like, first time I was like junior school, 7 or 8 years old. I wanted to play kiss chase. I wanted to have a boyfriend. You know, I didn't really want to obviously do anything because I was only young, but I wanted to like hold hands and yeah, it's just a bit weird. But my first boyfriend, I was about, I don't know, 7 or 8, and I won't say their names in this video, by the way. I'm not going to name names. I'm just going to say initials, okay? So the first one was the initial R, and he was really sweet. He was really cute. He was in my class. We used to sit next to each other, and he was really lovely. But then years later, he ended up in prison, so that's a bit... But yeah, he was with me for a little while, and then he dumped me for the girl who sat on the next table, and I was like... Not impressed. And it's really weird, like, because at high school, this girl went to go to my high school. I don't know what happened to him. He must have gone to a different high school. But the girl was at my high school, and all them years later, I'd still be like, daggers looks like. It's ridiculous, but true. So that was that one. Then I had, this is weird, but another R initial, and he had really blonde hair, like white blonde. They used to call him like the Milky Bar Kid from the advert, and he was a bit weird, very weird, and he had like lots of siblings and they were all naughty, and then he got really naughty, and yes, he was very like nice at first and then got a bit of a bully towards me. Actually, he wasn't very nice, so obviously that ended. And then years later I saw him in the high street, and he's like a homeless beggar. He sits there on the floor with his little hat and his bottle of drink, and it's quite sad really, because yeah, he was a bully in that, but he was only a kid, do you know what I mean? Now he's like on the street. So anyway, okay, also, this is really embarrassing, but I had a boyfriend when I was a kid at the local dog track. Basically, my mum and dad used to take me to Romford Dogs to watch the dog racing. And good times, good times. And basically there was this like little kids area, like play area. So they used to go and watch all the races, and they used to leave me in this little area where you could play on the swings and the slide, climbing frame, etc. And I met this little boy, and I just thought, oh, I love him. I want him to be my boyfriend. And yeah, so we kind of, he'd become my boyfriend, and we used to write little notes to each other. And then each time we'd go back, like each weekend, I'd give him like a little note, and he'd give me, it was really sweet actually. But then one weekend we didn't go, and I was like, Mum, Dad, please can we go to the dog track? I want to see my little boyfriend. And I don't know, we're not going this week. And the following week we'd gone after that, he wasn't there. And he was never there since. And I was really sad. I remember I used to go there and I used to sit on the swings, like, just like looking for him, and he never come back again. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he's like a superstar somewhere. So yeah, at a young age, I did kind of, you know, want little boyfriends. So more lists here. Look at all this bit of paper and my phone. Yeah, I had an online boyfriend. He was from up north in Leeds, and I nearly said his name then, I stopped myself. His initial was J, and we used to talk literally all the time online. So, by the way, this is when I'm a bit older. This is not when I'm at junior school. I was a bit older. And, yeah, he was really cool. We used to talk on, do you remember MSN? Messenger. Yeah, we used to talk on there for like hours and hours and hours. And I actually believed he was my boyfriend, you know. And even now, I think you can have a kind of online relationship. I think it's more common nowadays. Quite a lot of people have online relationships where they've never met each other, but they just connect. But yeah, we used to talk a lot, like literally, never like rude or anything, but we just used to get on and talk about music and stuff, TV shows. But then I don't know, it kind of fizzled out. Obviously, he was so far away, you know, up north, and we never met or anything. And I was still very young, so nothing happened there, obviously. So then I had a boy at school I was dating at high school with the initial W. You're probably just sitting there trying to figure out all these names by the initials. But yeah, initial W. He was a rocker, kind of metalhead wannabe. He would literally wear like his school uniform, but underneath he'd have his like Guns N' Roses top or Bon Jovi or whatever. And he was a cool guy. Well, boy, sorry. He was a cool boy, but I don't know, he was a bit weird still, a bit weird. But basically, he was my first kiss, as in bleh, snoggy snog. And it was disgusting. I hated it so much. I'd never French kissed anyone. And everyone was like putting peer pressure on, you know, oh, have you French kissed him? Have you been? And I'm like, yeah, I hadn't. But I wanted to kind of get out of the way and do it. So I wasn't ready. I shouldn't have done it. But anyway, I kissed him, and no word of a lie. This is so humiliating to confess, but there we go. I was so repulsed by the thought of this tongue going in my mouth and all the spit, and wasn't feeling it. I was sick on him. I literally was sick on him. That's so bad. Oh well. But yeah, that's not good. Not a very good first kiss experience, but there we go. But he didn't dump me after that. I thought he would have dumped me after that, but he didn't. And basically, I was really, really wanting a perm. I wanted my hair to be like a corkscrew, curly hair perm, which was trendy back in the day, I think. And I begged and begged my mum to let me have my hair permed, and it was all like corkscrewed, and I was like, oh my god, it looks amazing. Turn up to school right the next day, and sorry, my phone's going off. I hope that's not buzzing on the camera. Yeah, I turned up at school the next day, and I was like, look, W, I've had all my hair done, it's all curly. And he said, you look like a poodle, it's over. I was like, sorry? He's like, you dumped, it's over, you look like a weirdo, you got like a poodle haircut. I was so sad. I was really upset about that. And yeah, not cool. Not cool to dump someone just because they've permed their hair. Loser. But the weird thing is, right, he must live nearby still, because he works pretty much local to where we live still. And sometimes me and Nathan go out for a walk and go to the shops and stuff near this certain area. And he recognises me. I recognise him. And neither of us like smile or anything. It's a bit like awkward. So, yeah. Okay, right, moving on. I'm onto the paper now. So I haven't wrote this in an order. So some of them were when I was like early 20s and like late teens, and then it obviously, yeah, I should have done it in a proper order. I'm no good. So, okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is the initial C, and I was with him for quite a while, and I was, I'd say, probably about 17 when I met him, and he was evil. This is the only way I can say it. I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I think it's going to make me quite and uncomfortable to talk about. But I was in a very abusive relationship with this person, and it was a hard time. It was, well, very hard time. He used to physically abuse me and mentally abuse me. He made me feel worthless and shit, and I hated myself, and he'd say things about my looks. He'd say, oh, no one would ever want you. Every time I would try and get away, he knocked any bit of confidence I had away. He would push me over, he would kick me, he would punch me. It was really horrible. I'm not, as I say, I don't really want to talk too much more about it, but it was a nasty time, and he made me very kind of messed up, you know. So luckily, eventually, I got the confidence back, and I got the hell away from him. So I will just say to anyone, please listen to me. I know I'm a bit silly and a bit raw sometimes, but if you are in a relationship where you're being abused, whether it's physically or mentally, or just someone's making you feel really crap and rubbish about yourself and putting you down, get out of that relationship. You are worth far better than that, okay? You can find someone so much better who's going to treat you nicer and respect you. Never be with anyone if you're not feeling happy. There's just no point. And especially if you're getting physically hurt and mentally hurt, walk away. Just get away. And I know it's not easy, and sometimes it's like really takes a lot of, you know, strength to walk away, but you can. And, you know, when I left him, literally the next day I started to feel better about myself, and it just got more and more easier and better, and I, you know, grew my confidence and found myself as a person, because he just kind of took all that away. But it's quite sad. But anyway, so that wasn't a good relationship. I think that, well, I know that's the worst relationship ever that I'd had in my past. So even now I just get really like awkward and uncomfortable talking about it. So the next one I want to talk about is the initial B. Now, I was with B for a couple of years, and he was really cool, actually. Like, I don't want to like slate him too much until the end. We used to have a laugh, you know. He was fun, and he was a nice looking guy. He was cool, and I did think a lot of him until he cheated on me. Yes, it was weird, actually, because sorry, we spoke on the phone the night before. We were going to meet up. And he come round, and he just looked really serious when he come round, and he sat on my bed, and he just went, I've got something to tell you, Laura. It's not easy. And I was like, oh, well, you know, what's going on? Because bearing in mind, we were fine when we'd spoke on the phone previously. And he said, I've been cheating on you. I was like, sorry? Because it just come as such a shock. Like, I didn't suspect him. I don't know. It was just out of the blue. And he told me he'd been seeing some older woman, and, you know, he'd kind of fallen for her, and it wasn't fair to kind of, you know, be seeing me still and being in a relationship with me. And I was devastated. I'm not going to lie. Like, it was many, many years ago, and now I don't feel anything. I don't care. But back in the day, I was very deeply hurt and upset. And, you know, the fact that someone had cheated on me, it's not nice, is it? It's not a nice feeling. So, yeah, he was gone. And then it was weird. Like, a few months after that, once we split up, he kept kind of trying to come back, and it had obviously not worked with the other woman. And I was like, no, thank you. See you later. So that was that one. Then there was one called S, initial S, who... honestly, if I would stand all my exes up in a row, they would just look so bizarre, because they all looked completely different. He had a bald head and a purple beard, dyed purple beard. He was a punk, rocky kind of metal, kind of, I don't know, punk kind of, I don't know what to describe him as, but he was a cool person, but he was older than me, and we were very, very different. I think it was kind of a fun relationship. We did have a laugh and stuff, but I was a goth, and he was this kind of, as I say, punk, rocky kind of person. And I don't know, I think it was my rebel time. I wanted to rebel a bit, you know. And we were together about 2 years, just under 2 years. And he was a lovely guy, but I wasn't into it. And what really, really killed the whole relationship is when he said he wanted to get a tattoo of me, and I was like, no, because I wasn't feeling it anyway, the relationship. So the thought of someone getting a tattoo of me was like, oh, don't do that. And I kept saying to him, don't get a tattoo of me. I think it's a bit naff, you know, I don't really want you to. He didn't listen, and the next time I saw him, he had this massive tattoo on his arm of me, as like a cartoon kind of character of me. And I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And I dumped him, which sounds really cruel now after he had the tattoo done. But I did tell him not to go and get it done. Yeah, he wasn't for me. I mean, he was a nice person, but we were just so different. And yeah, but he's really happy now. I've seen him about. He's got like children, and I think he's married or lives with someone, I don't know. But he looks happy, you know. He's not one that I'd look back at and think I really hate him. Do you know what I mean? I just knew that he wasn't for me. Most of them I do really hate. No, I don't hate all of them. I just have no feelings one way or the other for. Do you know what I mean? But most of them, I do hate a few of them. Okay, the next one is D. I was with him for a couple of years. He lived in Kent. I'm going like that, like he's behind me. He's not behind me. Didn't work because of lots of things, personal matters that I'm not going to go into, but also because it was just, we were too far away. We were very different people, and it just didn't work. He wasn't a horrible person. He used to smoke a lot of stuff, if you know what I mean, and I didn't like it. I don't smoke that at all, and it used to make him quite paranoid and quite like half asleep most of the time, like, and I don't know, it didn't work, but that's that. He's married with children as well now, apparently. So next up, I dated W. I was so careful, I'm nearly saying the names. W, I met through a friend, and he was Chinese, and he used to wear these big round glasses, like proper like circle glass, like old-fashioned circle glasses, and they would always break, and instead of just going to get a new pair of glasses, he would just stick sellotape on his glasses. It was really weird. And he was like a bodybuilder type of person. He had these huge arms, like slim body but massive arms, and these round glasses with bits of sellotape on it. And a skinhead as well. It was, yeah, I don't quite know, but he wasn't awful. He wasn't an awful person. He was a sweet person and kind, but once again, not for me. I just didn't really have much of a spark. I didn't have much in common with him, and it just didn't work. I ended it. Next up, there was sorry, I'm laughing at these because I'm thinking about them as I'm reading their names. There was M. He was a rocker as well, and he had long black hair, and me and my friends at the time used to call him the Ramones man. Oh, there's that insect. Whenever I film with my light, this insect comes about. Yeah, we used to call him Ramone man because he looked like he was a member of the Ramones. He had long black hair, and he used to kind of walk like this, where it was like all over his face. It was very strange. So when I was with him, people would always be like, because we you know, we must have looked a bit weird together, because I was like really smartly dressed and he just had all this hair and like leather jacket, and it didn't look right together. They say opposites attract, but not always. So he was gone. Then there was P, really tall P. He was like 6'4", and I'm only 4'11", tiny, and big mouth, but tiny in height. He was really tall, and it just looked ridiculous. I never held his hand, because we just look stupid, in my opinion. Like this tiny little girl with this huge guy. I don't know, it's personal paranoia of mine. But no, he was okay. Like, he's not a bad guy, but once again, I just weren't feeling it. It was like, this isn't working. I'm not in love with you. I don't really fancy you that much. Like, I don't know, we're just too different. And I've seen him walking about. He's got a baby, and he's with someone, and he smiled and I smiled. So that's kind of cool. But there's no like animosity. There's no anger. You just think, lucky escape. He probably thought that of me as well. Next up, there was J. Well, there's two J's actually, but one J. When I first met him, he had dreadlocks. This is going to sound so cruel right now, but I thought he had, at the time, now I'm just like, oh God. At the time, I thought he had a nice face. And he was a really fun, quirky guy, but I didn't like dreadlocks on him. I just thought they looked terrible. They just looked unwashed. It looked like he needed a good bath and a hair wash. So I was a little brat back then, by the way. And now I don't believe in changing people. Like, you are who you are. You should be proud of who you are and stuff. But back in the day, I was like, can you get rid of those dreads? Because it looks a mess. It looks like they just need, yeah. So he got rid of his dreadlocks for me. And he had all his normal hair and everything. And I was like, no, I don't like that. And I dumped him. Oh my God, I sound so cruel. I was young. I was nasty back then, but it wasn't just because the hair. I just didn't feel it with him. I don't know. I don't know. I ended that one as well. He was really sad when we broke up, actually. I felt really mean because he was a nice person, but what's the point? If you're not feeling it with someone, to me, there's no point in being with someone if you're not feeling it. It's just a waste of time for both of you, and you're stopping yourselves from meeting people you are meant to be with. I'm trying to make myself feel better, not sound as much as a bitch. then there was one called, well, another one with an initial of J. I was with for a while, and this is creepy, but he lived opposite me. Like, literally, he was my neighbour. And he was a very good-looking man, not boy. But he was literally boring as fuck. Like, seriously. He was a nice person, but well, at first he was, not so much towards the end of the relationship. He was an arsehole. But at the beginning, he was nice enough, and he was just so dull. Like, he was obsessed with fishing, and most of our dates, he would just take me fishing, and I'd just sit on this lake for like 2 to 3 or 4 hours, just sitting there at this lake, waiting, you know, for this fish to be caught, which I think is a really cruel thing to do, by the way, being a vegetarian, an animal rights person. And then he'd get the fish, and he'd take a photo of it, and put it back in. So yeah, he was a very dull kind of, you know. I ended that one as well. I'm heartless. A heartless bitch. Breaking hearts around the world. No. Then there was A. Yeah, he was weird. He was a good looking guy. He was this goth guy, and he was good looking, but he was weird. And then one night, a few of us went back to his flat, like a party thing, and I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure he spiked my drink with something, because I just remember waking up the next morning in this flat, and I thought, what am I doing here? But by the way, back in the day, I was a lot more wilder than I am now, let's just say that. And yeah, I didn't know what I was doing then. I'm sure he spiked my drink or something, so it's kind of creepy. And after that, I just didn't feel any like comfortable around him. I thought, oh, you're a bit creepy, what have you done? So I ended that one. Dark times, right? Who else have we got on this list? I can't even read my own writing. Oh, there was D. It goes on. There was D. He was a goth, and he was really nice as well. I used to work with him as well, and he was a really lovely boy. Boy, you know what I mean? Young man. And yeah, he was funny and sweet, and he had this long dark hair, and yeah, it all went a bit wrong with him because I found out he already had a girlfriend the whole time. Literally, the whole time I was dating him, he'd had a girlfriend for like 5 years anyway. He forgot to tell me about the fact that he had a girlfriend, so that wasn't too good, so I got rid of him as well. And I think, oh no, then there's S. I forgot about S. He's the last one on my list, obviously before I met the one and only Nathan, my fiance. S was, I met S on a dating website, and basically on this picture of him, it looked like he had really light blonde hair. Okay, so we chatted a bit on messengers, you know, when you're dating sites and you're getting to know someone, and I was like, yeah, he's pretty cool, he's funny, and he's quite keen. He's like, can I take you out for a drink, blah blah blah. So I went up to meet him at this pub, and I got out my car, and there's this guy sitting there with grey hair, and he had like a really young face but grey hair. And I was like, no. And I'm not going to lie, this makes me sound really horrible. But I was literally going to just get back in my car and just go home, because I thought, oh no. I'm not being like rude, but I'm not attracted to people with grey hair. I'm sorry. I know you're probably like, well, look at the state of you. You ain't all that. True, I'm not all that, but we've all got our own preferences, right? And I just didn't look at the grey hair and think, oh yeah, grey hair. But it's really weird actually, because now a lot of people are dyeing their hair grey. It's like a fashionable, trendy thing for young people. But back in the day, it was like, why have you got a young face with grey hair? Sorry. Anyway, so I wasn't nasty, and I got out of the car and I met him, and yeah, he was cool. Like, we dated for, well, I don't know, about 6-7 months, something like that. It wasn't very long, but he was a nice guy, but he'd always let me down. He'd always, like, not turn up for dates and send this really crap text message, like, oh, sorry, I'll see you tomorrow instead. You know, he was just rubbish, really. There's nothing else I can say about it. And then at the end, he cheated on me, I think. He said he was ill one day, and then I saw him tagged with this really pretty blonde girl in, like, London in a restaurant or something. I was like, huh? So, yeah, that ended. That wasn't good. But then after that, I had a little break, and I decided that I didn't want to kind of be with anyone for a while. I was sick of men. I just wanted some time with my friends, and I was going out a lot back then, clubbing and pubbing and just getting more confident and enjoying my time with my friends, really. Obviously in the back of my mind I still wanted romance, obviously, but it wasn't at the forefront of my mind. I think I'd been hurt so much and I'd had so many idiots, and I just thought no more. But I didn't want to be alone, and I did obviously deep down, as I say, want to find love, but I was just so scared of getting hurt, very defensive and stuff, had all my barriers like locked up. Anyway, I noticed this cute little face on this dating site, and he had a really cute little face, and I read his profile and I was like, this guy sounds cool. We've got the same music interests. We like the same sort of stuff. He just sounded funny and witty. Like, his things that he wrote in his profile were just witty. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I messaged him, and it ended up being Nathan, who's my fiance. So I messaged him. He messaged back. We talked for a little while, actually, over like messages and stuff. And then we met up, and we just clicked. Like, at the beginning, I was very like hesitant to start a relationship because, as I say, been through a lot. I wasn't really ready, but it was all a bit weird. But every time I saw him, like, I'd leave, like, you'd end the date, I'd go home and I'd be like, oh, I miss him already. Because I really loved spending time with him. I loved his aura. I loved being around him. He made me smile. I was laughing. And I could just, for the first time in all these years, I was just myself. I wasn't pretending to be this or pretending to be that. I was comfortable. I was having a laugh and flirting, and it was good, So yeah, we started dating, and 6 years later, in April, we're still together and we are engaged. Oh yeah. And we're going to get married in about a year, 9 months, that kind of time. So we've got to start planning things, actually. But yeah, I love him so much, and he is like literally my world. Like, literally, I would do anything for him. He is my soulmate. He understands me, everything about me. Like, I think he knows me better than I know myself sometimes. And he always makes me laugh, even if I feel really low. And I do get times when I'm depressed and anxious and just feeling down, and he just is there for me. He's only got to give me a cuddle or give me a certain little smile or say something funny or do a funny little thing, and I'm better. He just understands me, and I love him so dearly. And every time I look at him, I know this sounds really cheesy, but every time I look at him, I thank God. I thank God and say thank God that I met this person who's my soulmate. And yeah, I'm very happy, extremely lucky to have met Nathan, because he is truly, and I'm not just saying this, he is truly the nicest person I've ever met in my entire life. And he's not paying me either to say that. But he's just a lovely, lovely person, and he's funny, and, he's quite sarcastic at times, which I love. Well, not all the time, but no, he's sarcastic, he's funny, he's cute, he's sexy, he's adorable. I love him. I love him so much. And in this video on YouTube, I'm telling the world that I love Nathan, my fiancé, forever. And I can't wait to be his wife. So yeah, I've had a lot of bad relationships, and not all of them have, like, done me any good, like, especially the abusive relationship, obviously, that really knocked my confidence. And I thought I would never fall in love. I honestly believe them horrible words that no one will ever love you, no one will ever fancy you. Well, they do, and I'm happy now. And do I regret them ex-boyfriends? Yeah, no. I think everything happens in life for a reason. I believe in destiny. I believe in fate, and it's my history. Do you know what I mean? It's my past. But yeah, there's a few I'd be like, oh God, I wish I wouldn't have got near them. But there we go, it's happened now. And the way I look at it, Nathan is my past, my present, my future. Because, obviously 6 years together, nearly, that's my past. He's been in my past. He's my present, because obviously we're together now. And he's going to be my future, because he's going to be my husband. So, I try and forget about all the exes, unless I'm taking the piss out of them when I'm, in a conversation. But he's my past, present, future, and yeah. So there we go. I think I've been quite open and honest, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. I do feel a little bit awkward. I don't know what it is about, like, ex relationships that make us feel awkward to talk about. Like, I don't know. I was planning on doing like like a roast video, you know, like a comedy roast, and just like taking the complete piss out of them all. And I just thought, no, I'm a better person than that. I don't mind a little bit of banter, but I don't want to just sit there and make a video, you know, being nasty and laughing about people, because it's not the sort of person I am now. So I say now because back then I probably would have. But you know, yeah, I think Nathan's made me a better person. He's made me a softer person, a kinder person, and he's brought out the true me. And I'm finally can honestly say I am happy. And you know, yes, I've got anxiety, and yes, I've got issues, but I've got Nathan, and that's all I need. That's all I want. The love of my life. Anyway, okay. Thank you for watching this video. As I say, comment down below. Tell me about your exes. I want everything. Tell me everything. And yeah, I mean, have you ever gone back and like redated an ex? I never have done that. I have to say, to me, once they're an ex, they're an ex. You shouldn't go back. You shouldn't go back. You've ended for a reason. As I say, that the one who cheated on me tried to come back sniffing around. I was like, no thank you, goodbye. And that's how I genuinely feel. Like, once they're an ex, just let them go. Let them go. Do your own things, you know. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe to my channel. That'd be awesome. And come check me out on social media as well. Twitter is @minxlaura123, Instagram is minxlaura123, and Facebook is minx.laura.5. And I hope none of my exes are watching this. They're not going to be watching it, let's face it, this is not going to happen. Yeah. Awkward. So I'll see you all very soon here on the channel. Take care of yourselves and those around you. Lots of love and peace. Take care, everyone. Bye.